The National Collegiate Athletic Association is an athletics association of 10 colleges and universities in the Philippines. Established in 1924, the NCAA is the oldest athletic association in the Philippines. The Philippine NCAA is not affiliated to the NCAA of the United States. Media, PTV, ABS-CBN Sports Studio 23, AKTV on IBC, Axiom, TV5, Policy Board and the Management Committee. The Policy Board and the Management Committee handles the affairs of the league. The board and the committee are composed of representatives of the 8 member schools, and determine the acceptance and suspension of member schools, game reversals and replays, and other official actions. During the nearly year-long season from June to March, each school participates in 11 sports. Each sport is conducted in 2 divisions, the juniors for male high school students, and the seniors for college students. There are male and female seniors divisions for some events. The juniors and seniors divisions each award a general championship trophy at the end of the academic year to the school which had the best performance in all sports, based on the total amount of points scored in a championship tally. Membership changes. Rivalries developed in the hotly contested basketball event. These rivalries resulted in brawls among fans of member schools. Some brawls were full-blown that several schools decided to withdraw from the league. The NCAA authorities took measures to prevent brawls, such as the segregation of supporters of opposing schools in the playing venues. With the withdrawal of member schools came the admission of new members into the league. In season 2006-07, the league contemplated an expansion by establishing a Division II. After season 2008-09, PCU took an indefinite leave of absence after it was discovered that several high school players used spurious documents to enroll in the school. As a result, the league had only 7 members in season 2009-10. 2 schools were welcomed as probationary members in season 2010 November. In season 2011 December, the league welcomed the Lyceum Pirates as a guest team. In the 2013-14 season, Arellano was promoted to regular membership after 4 years in probation, while EAC and Lyceum remained in probationary membership. Member schools. The number and composition of NCAA members has changed over the years. The association is currently composed of the following colleges and universities, with their corresponding team mascots, affiliation, and the year of admission. The lack of high school varsity program prevented Lyceum in being a guest member for the season 85. In season 87, the high school program in Cavite campus was accepted as the juniors team of LPU. The original Mapaa High School represented the Mapaa juniors team from 1930 to 2005. Structure and hosting. The Policy Board, composed of the presidents of member schools, manages the NCAA's external and internal affairs. It handles matters such as acceptance, replacement, and suspension of member schools. The NCAA presidency rotates among member schools. The other main administrative body in the NCAA is the Management Committee, which determines matters of athletic concern, such as determining the proper conditions for playing, suspension of players, coaches, and referees, reversal or review of game results, and investigation of ineligible players. The Management Committee is composed of the athletics moderators of the member schools, who are selected by their respective university presidents, and the league chairperson, who is selected by the Policy Board. Like the league president, the chair of the Management Committee rotates among member schools. The president of the Policy Board and the chairperson of the Management Committee come from the school currently hosting the basketball tournament. The rotation is determined by the order of when each school joined the league. For the 2013-2014 season, the host will be De La Salle, College of St. Benilde. The host school manages the logistics, expenses, labor and security in the venues. Each sport has its own host, with the host for basketball being the head of all hosts. Sports. The NCAA sponsors 11 sports, which are divided into 2 divisions, the Juniors Division for high school students and the Seniors Division for college students. There are male and female seniors divisions for some events. Each member college or university has an affiliated high school that competes in the juniors division. For example, San Beda College's affiliated high school is its campus at Tite, Rizal, while Letran College's high school is found within its college campus at Intramuros. While these two high schools are integrated within their colleges, De La Salle College of St. Benilde is not directly connected with its high school affiliate, La Salle Green Hills, except that they are both administered by the Lasallian brothers. As a result, LSGH labels St. Benilde instead of La Salle on their jerseys. The NCAA sponsors the following sports for juniors and seniors: basketball, soccer, swimming, taekwondo, track and field, chess, tennis, table tennis, volleyball, and beach volleyball. The last three sporting events have a women's division. Cheerleading. In the 87th season of the NCAA, cheerleading has been upgraded to a regular sport, which means it will contribute points in the overall championship race. The general champion for each division in an academic year is determined by a points system similar to the one used in Formula One, where the school with the highest accumulated score from all events in a division wins the general championship. A championship in an event entitles a school with 40 points, the second place a 30, up to 8th place, with 5 points. For an example, see the tabulation of points for season 84. Currently, De La Salle College of St. Benilde and San Beda College compete in all seniors sports, while La Salle Green Hills, San Beda College and University of Perpetual Help System DALTA participates in all juniors sports. History. Early years. The NCAA was founded in 1924 on the initiative of Dr. Regino Orellana, a physical education professor at the University of the Philippines. The original members were the Ateneo de Manila, De La Salle College, Institute of Accounts, now as Far Eastern University, National University, San Beda College, the University of Manila, the University of the Philippines, and the University of Santo Tomas. The decision of the Board of Directors to file papers of incorporation with the then Bureau of Commerce in 1930 led to protests from the University of the Philippines, which was the only public institution among member schools, saying that it would lead to commercialization. National University and the University of Santo Tomas sided with the University of the Philippines on the matter. This led into the formation, via an article of agreement, of a triangular meet among NU, UP and UST, with the Board of Control's condition that NCAA events should take precedence. The league established came to be known as the Big Three, and in 1932, the article of agreement was renewed. In 1936, the University of the Philippines and University of Santo Tomas withdrew permanently in the NCAA and continued with their own league, while Far Eastern University withdrew on its own. 6 schools remained in the league and became known as the old-timer Six: Ateneo de Manila, Collegiate de San Juan de Letran, De La Salle College, Jose Copyright Rizal College, Mapaa Institute of Technology and San Beda College. Also in 1936, league's basketball games were transferred to the newly completed Rizal Memorial Coliseum, owing to its accessibility among the schools, since most schools were in Manila. In 1938, Far Eastern University, National University, the University of the Philippines and the University of Santo Tomas formed the University Athletic Association of the Philippines, a rival intercollegiate league. The NCAA experienced a golden age during the post-war years. The Loyola Center at the Ateneo campus became the new home of the league. Due to the home court advantage of the Ateneo, Blue Eagles games were held on the old Rizal Memorial. 1950s. The 1950s will be known in the annals of history as one of the best decades of the NCAA. The start of the decade was the glory year of the fabled Letran murder incorporated. Eventually, it will be the Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles and San Beda Red Lions who would be locking horns during the fabled era. The decade produced legendary collegiate players like Carlos Loizaga, Lalo the Fox Mama, and Frankie Rabat among others. The 1950s was also known as the decade of the Crispulo Zamora Cup. The Crispulo Zamora Cup was the trophy to be awarded by the NCAA for the first team to get 3 championship crowns. the Letran Knights started with their 1950 campaign bannering their legendary Murder Incorporated. However, they lost steam when San Beda and Ateneo traded championships thereafter. San Beda won the crown in 1951 and the 1952 season. Ateneo stopped San Beda in 1953 and secured the 1954 championship. The 1955 season was the deciding year for the Crispulo Zamora Cup, which San Beda eventually won. In the post-Zamora Cup era, La Salle made their own statement by winning the crown in 1956. Still, Ateneo was undaunted and secured the 1957 and 1958 trophy. A third straight post-Zamora crown was only foiled by San Beda in 1959, ending the legendary decade of the 50s. 1960s to 1980s, NCAA basketball champions formed the core of the Filipino team sent to international competitions during 1960 and 1961 in Japan. The opening of the Araneta Coliseum, the largest indoor arena in the Philippines, prompted the league to transfer the championship round there. By the 1960s, the league experienced problems such as eligibility of players and interscholastic hooliganism. This led to disagreements among member schools, and as a result the 1962 Euro 63 season was suspended, and the following two seasons were held in a loose conference format, where the home and away system was used. San Sebastian College, Recoletos joined the league in 1969. Trinity College of Quezon City also joined in 1974, the league's golden anniversary, according to newspapers and other publications of that year. After the riotous games of the late 1970s, several of the founding members left the league. The Ateneo de Manila University left the league in 1978 due to violence, which also marred a championship series with San Beda, while La Salle left after a riotous game with Letran in 1980. Ateneo de Manila was accepted in the UAAP in 1978, while La Salle had to wait for 6 years to become a UAAP member. San Beda left the league in 1983, reasoning that the college focused on school-based sports activities like intramurals. With the withdrawal of Ateneo de Manila, league games returned to the old Rizal Memorial and to the Phil Sports Arena, since the Loyola Center was now the location of the UAAP tournament. Also, with the withdrawal of the three founding members, most daily publications tagged the NCAA as an ironic journey from sports to violence. 1980s to 1990s expansion, as the league was reduced to 4 members, membership was actively pursued. Perpetual Help College of Rizal was accepted as members in 1984. A year later, Trinity College of Quezon City became a full member. However, Trinity was not able to meet league requirements and was dropped from the league in 1986, the same year San Beda returned. Measures were taken to prevent major brawls from starting, such as patrolling the behavior of the crowd by the respective faculties of the member schools, were implemented as part of the remedy to ensure the security during the NCAA games. The addition of Philippine Christian University and De La Salle College of St. Benilde in the late 1990s resulted in the 8-school lineup. A major breakthrough occurred when the league, upon the initiative of host school San Beda, made a move that switched the television coverage of NCAA games from MCI Group to ABS-CBN on March 18, 2002. Previously, only the Final Four and the championship games were televised, but with a 5-year contract inked with ABS-CBN, a majority of the basketball games will be aired, giving the league bigger exposure to fans, students and alumni. ABS-CBN would later air the games on its international affiliate, the Filipino Channel, making the games viewable to alumni and fans abroad. Current expansion: the NCAA has set its plan of expansion. Division II, as it will be called, will be composed of newly admitted schools. The league has already visited and issued invitations to schools such as Arellano University, Emilio Aguinaldo College and the Lyceum of the Philippines University. In 1998, the affiliated schools in the Calabarzon region and southern Metro Manila established NCAA South, an offshoot of the league. The schools of NCAA South do not compete with the schools in the main league. The return of a Mapua Juniors team, which took a leave of absence beginning at the 2005 Euro 06 season, would return at the 2007-08 season, as the newly built Malayan High School would be fully operational. Malayan High School would represent the Mapaa Institute of Technology. However, the return of the Mapaa Juniors team in 2007 was held off. The Mapaa team representing the Malayan High School of Science will official debut on the 2008-09 season. After it was revealed that several players of the PCU Juniors basketball team enrolled with spurious documents, PCU's seniors and juniors teams were suspended in the 2007 August season. The seniors teams participated in the 2008 September season, but all teams would take an indefinite leave of absence starting at the 2009 October season. As a result, the management committee conducted a search for PCU's replacement, but it was decided that such replacements would be deferred to the 2010-11 season. The league opted to invite guest teams instead, with Angeles University Foundation, Arellano University and Emilio Aguinaldo College being the invitees, and being eligible to win championships. On the next season, AU and EAC's status was upgraded to probationary membership. Lyceum of the Philippines University, which had earlier sought membership, was accepted as a guest team in the 2011-12 season. Arellano became a regular member since the 2013-14 season after meeting the league requirements. EAC and Lyceum remained on probation, and their performances will be evaluated at the end of the current season. Membership timeline. Early rivalries. Almost all of the rivalries of the NCAA originated from the basketball court, since basketball is the sport most covered by the media, especially on television. Most of the rivalries started due to the schools' compositions, because 4 of the old-timer 6 were schools exclusively for males from affluent families. These rivalries have declined in recent years with the withdrawal of 2 of the old-timer 6, Ateneo and La Salle. With the addition of new members to the league, rivalries shifted to more of a geographical nature. However, the former members would still face their old rivals in other leagues during the off-season, such as the Home and Away Invitational League, the Philippine Collegiate Championship, and the Shakey's V-League. Ateneo UP. A rivalry between the Ateneo de Manila and the University of the Philippines existed even before the formation of the NCAA. UP students would troop from Padre Fora to the Ateneo campus in Intramuros to play basketball with the Atenenses, which led to Ateneo forming the first organized cheering squad and pep band in the Philippines and what is now known as the Blue Babble Battalion. This would later become UAAP's Battle of Katipunan, when both universities transferred to their respective campuses along Katipunan Avenue in Quezon City, and when the 2 schools began competing in the UAAP. Ateneo La Salle. Arguably the most popular rivalry in Filipino sports was forged in the NCAA, the Ateneo La Salle rivalry. Historical records are unclear on when the rivalry began, although there are arguments pointing to La Salle's 1939 defeat of a top-seeded Ateneo basketball team and their being dethroned by the Atenenses who beat the La Sallites in the elimination round. While La Salle held their victory parade, they threw fried chickens at the Padre Fora gate of the Ateneo. However, the La Salle Cage team was disbarred for fielding an ineligible player the following year. Ateneo La Salle games were always heated, for both schools were exclusively for males. However, La Salle during its stint in the NCAA was not as strong a contender as Ateneo was, with Ateneo not meeting La Salle again until the 1958 finals, where Ateneo prevailed. Ateneo La Salle games are now some of the most anticipated games of the UAAP season. Ateneo San Beda. With the departure of University of the Philippines, the Ateneo de Manila and San Beda College fielded the dominant basketball teams for several seasons, having won their last 6 titles between them. It was in this context that the fierce rivalry between the Ateneo and San Beda emerged. The 2 teams traded championships in the 1930s that was halted when La Salle scored an upset over Ateneo in the 1939 season. By the time World War II began, Ateneo already had the most number of NCAA seniors basketball titles with 6, whereas San Beda had 5 titles to its name. The ensuing years saw the 2 schools trade championships and end one another's winning streaks. The rivalry between the Blue Eagles and Red Lions continued, and there were memorable games in the 1950s that ensued between the two teams. Carlos Loizaga's San Beda Red Lions toppled the Ateneo Blue Eagles from 1951 to 1952. Then, the Blue Eagles under the leadership of Frankie Rabat captured the 1953 and 1954 NCAA titles. 1955 was the year when the Crispilo Zamora Trophy was awarded to San Beda when they defeated Ateneo for the coveted crown. The Blue Eagles again prevailed with 1957 and 1958 back-to-back crown, only to be defeated by San Beda in 1959. The rivalry continued in the 1970s, when their sons, Quito Loizaga and Louis Rabat, met in the NCAA. The rivalry came to an end in the 1977 Finals Series. In Game 1, a brawl ensued among fans of the competing teams, which led to the third game being played behind closed doors, with San Beda winning the basketball championship, after Ateneo's last-second shot was ruled invalid. The violence surrounding this championship series, coupled with the violence that was plaguing the league, led to the withdrawal from the NCAA of both Ateneo and San Beda. The Blue Eagles left with 14 seniors titles, a record for the most number of seniors titles that would only be tied and surpassed decades later. San Beda later won its 14th title in 2008. The Ateneo de Manila joined the UAAP, while San Beda College eventually came back to the NCAA. La Salle Letran. In the 1970s, La Salle started its own rivalry against Letran. Letran then had 6 championships, while La Salle got its 5th championship at the expense of Letran in the Diamond Championship Series. La Salle then was managed by Eduardo Cajunco, a known crony of then-President Ferdinand Marcos. Coincidentally, Cajunco controlled the FIBA-recognized Basketball Association of the Philippines, BAP, and was appointed by Marcos as project director for basketball. The rivalry came into a climax on an August 16, 1980 La Salle-Letran game. The Letran bleachers were totally unoccupied minutes before the game began. Letran school authorities would not let their students get inside unless De La Salle's team manager's guests leave the south end bleachers that are part of the Letran stands. The group moved over to the north end after talks between Cajunco and Letran rector Fr. Regino Cortez. Only then did the Letran bleachers fill up. With the game on the way, Letran was toting a 22-18 lead when they called a timeout halfway through the first half. Then, the South End reserve section erupted with at least 5 burly men ganging up on a hapless Letran High School sophomore student for a full minute before police could intervene. But for the mauled student, none was picked up. Almost simultaneously, the La Salle bench suddenly stood up, the players hunched and protecting their heads with towels and jackets against various missiles pelted on them. The guests of De La Salle's team manager were also present during that time when La Salle was able to win over Letran on August 6. Should La Salle win on August 16, it still has to face San Beda and win to clinch the round championship. A victory by Letran over La Salle gives it the first round flag. Cajunco never explained why his guests just happened to be positioned in the Letran side of the Coliseum. La Salle, for its part, claims that the 5 men who beat up the Letran student were La Salle students, and both teams went immediately to their respective dugouts. A large number of spectators were hurt, and a great portion of the Coliseum was damaged. The game was called off by the NCAA and ordered a replay behind closed doors, but the BAP ordered the remainder of the season to be cancelled. La Salle then announced on a press conference on September 1981 that they will withdraw from the NCAA effective at the end of the 1980-81 season. The BAP had its findings released that the rumble was started by Letran students, thus giving Letran a 1-year layoff in the NCAA. Letran was immediately reinstated back in 1981. Recent rivalries. After the former members transferred to the UAAP, new rivalries were formed and the NCAA slowly revived its former glory. Letran San Sebastian. After both Ateneo and La Salle left, San Sebastian strengthened their basketball program. The acquisition of Paul Alvarez de San Sebastian and Samboy Lim to Letran provided several close games in the 1980s which led to the birth of the rivalry. In the 1980s, Letranites were notorious for yelling profanities at the San Sebastian players, and on one occasion, led to a rumble at Vito Cruz Avenue when at the last second, a power interruption occurred, causing confusion on what team won the championship. The rumbles between the two schools have become more frequent, which solidified the intense rivalry between the two schools. Paul Alvarez would later play for the Pennsylvania Valley DAWGS of the United States Basketball League. The rivalry continued in the turn of the millennium when the Stags met the Knights in the finals twice. This led to several memorable games in which the Knights won the 1998 edition with a barrage of three-pointers and free throws by Letran's Nicolas Pacheco with a few seconds remaining to win their 13th championship. The Knights also became the first fourth seed to upset the first seed in the Final Four when they defeated the Stags twice during the 1999 NCAA Final Four. That feat would soon be duplicated the following year when the fourth-seed Stags upended top-seed JRC Heavy Bombers in the 2000 NCAA Final Four. The Knights went on to win the 1999 NCAA Championship. In the 2003 NCAA Finals, the Stags made a rally in the fourth quarter in the third game of their series and kept Letran scoreless for almost 6 minutes that led them to take the lead, but Boyet Bautista started the comeback by tying the game at 48-all, and then his teammates Jonathan Pia +or-Era and Aaron Abin finished the game to win their 15th championship at the expense of the Stags. In 2004, they renewed their rivalry in the second round of eliminations, wherein Letran denied Base's Final Four hopes and eventually broke their streak of Final Four appearances, making it their worst performance in 6 years. In 2009, Letran ended San Sebastian's 15-winning streak as they gave out the Stags' first loss of the season, and the Knights prevented the Golden Stags from sweeping the 18-game elimination round to qualify outright in the finals. In 2010. Letran gave San Sebastian a scare as the Stags escaped the Knights with a 1-point lead, and the Stags put the Knights in the brink of elimination. In 2011, Letran once again ended the Stags' 15-game winning streak and gave its first loss of the season via overtime. In 2012, Letran swept the series against San Sebastian at the elimination round. With the Stags had a twice-to-beat advantage over the Knights, Letran once again beat San Sebastian to force another game as Kevin Alus scored 43 points. In the do-or-die game, Letran came back in the fourth quarter to beat the Stags, 73-70, eliminating the Stags from the finals contention versus San Beda. Letran, Mapae. The Battle of Intramuros, which is so named because the two schools are 3 blocks apart from each other in Intramuros, is the name given to the Letran-Mapae games. The Cardinals have had the mastery of the Knights in recent years. For 8 consecutive years from 1998, Letran has failed to beat Mapae in the eliminations rounds at least twice, even though the Knights were more successful in the league. The Knights were finally able to beat Mapae in the first round of the 2005 tournament, but the Cardinals avenged that loss in the second round when they dealt the Knights with their first and only defeat of the season. Letran Knights were on their way on scoring a rare 14-0 sweep of the elimination round when they were stopped by the Mapae Cardinals in their 12th game of the eliminations. Letran and Mapae would split their games in subsequent seasons. In 2009, Letran finally ended its second-round losing streak against Mapae and its first sweep against their Intramuros rivals in league history, although the only instance where Letran and Mapae met in the finals was in the 1979 season where the Knights prevailed. The championship won by the Cardinals in 1981 proved to be a spoiler once again, as it denied Letran the bragging rights to the unprecedented honor of being the first ever NCAA team to win 5 consecutive seniors championships, a feat that would later on be achieved by the San Sebastian Stags from 1993-97. St. Benilde, San Sebastian. This short-lived rivalry sparked when the De La Salle, College of St. Benilde, who joined only in 1998, met San Sebastian College, Recoletos in the finals of 2000, and 2002. CSB won in the finals of 2000, bannered by what is dubbed as the best CSB Blazers team ever assembled. with 1999 NCAA Rookie of the Year and 2002 NCAA MVP Sunday Salvacion, Jundan Salvador, and 2000 NCAA Rookie of the Year Alejandro Magpero leading the charge. The St. Benilde Blazers beat the formidable San Sebastian Stags and won their first NCAA Seniors Basketball Championship title, despite joining the league a season earlier. This marks the fastest win for any new school in the league since the World War. However, the Stags avenged their defeat and triumphed over CSB in the finals of 2002, where they swept Blazers, 2-0. The Stags' lay manager was adjudged the 2002 NCAA Finals MVP. Jose Copyright Rizal, San Sebastian. The rivalry started in 1972 where Jose Copyright Rizal was playing in the championship against new member San Sebastian. The Heavy Bombers was banned by Philip Caesar, David Caesar, Ed Carvajal, Jess Station, Maria, Chris Calilan, Olimpio Santos, Jimmy Santos and Norberto Rivera. San Sebastian has their own superstar with the like of Dave Sutnett. JRU captured the NCAA crown, which up to this date is the last time Jose Copyright Rizal won a championship. Years later the two teams again figured in a mini-rivalry, San Sebastian's Paul Alvarez and Jose Copyright Rizal's Virgil Meanses figured in a PABL slam dunk contest in 1987 in which Meanses won the contest. As contrasted with SSCR's 5 consecutive championships in the 1990s, JRC continued to struggle and not until 1999 where the Heavy Bombers made it to the finals but lost to the defending champion Letran Knights. In 2000, the Golden Stags and the Heavy Bombers met in the Final Four. JRC clinched the number 1 seed while SSCR got the 4th seed. The Stags defeated the Bombers twice to advance to the finals against CSB. Thus, the Stags became the 2nd 4th seed to upset the 1st seed in the Final Four. SSCR and JRU also met in the 2001 finals. JRU was bannered by Ariel Capus, season MVP Hernani Pondolan, Rodel Miller, Joel Finulia and Razzle Dazzle point guard Erwin Estepel, while San Sebastian was led by Mark Macapagal, Christian Coronel and Jam Alford. JRU lost in the series, which included a 33-point blowout loss in the deciding Game 3. Coronel was named as the 2001 NCAA Finals MVP. The rivalry continued during Final Four appearances of both schools from 2002 and 2003. Not until the 2007 NCAA season when San Sebastian's Final Four chances was denied by Jose Copyright Rizal via a 7-point winning margin in a come-from-behind victory. The Stags was ahead by 7 points against the Heavy Bombers 1:10 to go in regulation. Jose Copyright Rizal capitalized on the errors of San Sebastian and forced an overtime to win the game. This allowed JRU to grab the number 3 spot in the Final Four. JRU had another part in eliminating SSCR in the 2008 season when they were tied for the number 2 seed with 2 other teams. In the ensuing classification playoffs, JRU and San Sebastian met in the first round to decide which team will figure in a playoff for the number 2 seed. The Heavy Bombers won the game and relegated San Sebastian to the 4th seed playoffs where they were eliminated. In 2009 San Sebastian and JRU renewed their rivalry once again in the Final Four wherein the Golden Stags without Jimbo Aquino due to his flagrant foul committed against San Beda for the 1st seed playoff which led to his suspension in Game 1. The Stags were beaten anew by the Heavy Bombers 72-65. But in Game 2 of their semi-finals series with Jimbo Aquino returning from his suspension, the Stags defeated the Heavy Bombers 79-64 with JRU's head coach Ariel Vanguardia fired after their 2009 semi-final stint. And the Stags entered the finals for the first time since 2003 wherein the Stags loses against the Letran Knights in 3 games. Eventually the Stags won the championship against the four-peat-seeking Red Lions wherein the Stags had its vengeance on the Red Lions via sweep. The Stags' Jimbo Aquino was named the 2009 NCAA Finals MVP and ending San Beda's dynasty. San Sebastian won its last title since 2002 when they swept the St. Benilde Blazers in 2010. San Sebastian and JRU once again met in the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive year and second in the semi-finals with San Beda's sweep of the elimination round round which led to a step-ladder format in the semi-finals. JRU and Mapua figure it out in the first round, in which JRU won 60-54. The Heavy Bombers advanced to the next round against the defending champions San Sebastian Stags, but in that part 3 of San Sebastian, JRU San Sebastian won the game 61-52 and completing a season series sweep against the Heavy Bombers, also in 2002 and 2003, and making it a second consecutive finals appearance for the Golden Stags, and faces last year's finals tormentor and losing finalist San Beda Red Lions, Letran San Sebastian. The rivalry started on October 28, 1950, when Letran and San Sebastian meet in the finals for the first time. Letran then was led by Laramama, while San Sebastian was led by Carlos Loizaga, who eventually became legends of Philippine basketball. During the second round of eliminations, Letran is on the verge of sweeping the tournament to become eventual champions, but San Sebastian spoiled it and beat them to arrange a championship showdown with the Knights. In the finals, Letran got their sweet revenge as they beat San Sebastian to get their second title in the NCAA. The Letran team was called Murder Incorporated by the late Willie Hernandez because of their merciless brand of basketball, very unforgiving. After that historic match, San Sebastian kept on winning many championships until the 70s, while Letran ended the 70s with only 6 championships. During the 80s, the NCAA has seen the downfall of the San Sebastian basketball program, while Letran peaked and became a powerhouse team that will continue until the millennium decade. With the exit of their fierce rivals, Ateneo for San Sebastian and La Salle for Letran, some say the rivalry has died down because of their heaven and earth situation. Not until in 2006, when the Lions won their 12th championship after 28 years. During that same year, San Sebastian won twice against Letran and denied the Knights to gain a twice-to-beat advantage in the Final Four. In 2007, San Sebastian and Letran played for the championship for the second time and was dubbed the Dream Finals, because it featured 2 NCAA teams who have very rich basketball history and tradition, and in this series, San Sebastian has a championship score to settle with Letran. The Red Lions eventually swept the Knights, 2-0. San Sebastian's Rojma Mena was named as the 2007 NCAA Finals MVP. Right now they are the most anticipated games in the NCAA, which led to bringing the games at the Araneta Coliseum. They are also compared to UAAP's Ateneo La Salle, wherein some columnists say it is the icing in the cake of today's NCAA championships. See also, International University Sports Federation, List of NCAA Philippine seasons, National Collegiate Athletic Association South, Women's National Collegiate Athletic Association, References. Other references: The Guidon, Ateneo de Manila University, Aegis, Ateneo de Manila University, the Perpetualit, University of Perpetual Help System DALTA, NCAA Souvenir Program, External links, NCAA Philippines official site, NCAA Basketball on Inbound Pass, UOB.com.